This isn't going to be a one size fits all, but my ultimate advice here is twofold. Don't overthink it, don't overdo it. Even if you have viewers, it's not your viewers' job to entertain you, it's your job to entertain them. And I think a lot of small streamers forget that. What I really want to show you is look at the thumbnails. Go for one of these spots that, one, it's not covering up anything in your gameplay, and two, it's not going to be covered up by any of the Twitch UI. You are your own competition. Nobody else is. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're a new viewer, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining. I'm Hey Shady Lady. If you are a returning subscriber, I just want to let you know that I've converted this channel pretty much entirely into only Twitch tutorials. So if you have anything in specific you'd like to see me talk about, please let me know in the comments below, or anything in this video that you want to see me go further in detail about, let me know and I can make more videos on that. So this is going to be a short but hopefully thorough presentation on how you could get started on Twitch now and theoretically create a successful platform for yourself. I actually collaborated a little bit with my friend Duke Stamina on writing a script for this because he just recently switched over from being like an IRL content creator, a musician, performer who mostly was on Facebook but found that he was struggling with growing a new following or expanding his following and even monetizing it all. And so I finally convinced him to come on to Twitch because I think Twitch is primed for both of those things. He was a brand new into the Twitch world, didn't know much about it at all, any of the tools you needed or anything like that. So this video is created with him in mind and people who are just getting into Twitch now and don't even really know where to start or what to do or anything like that. I do have a script that I've prepared, so if it seems like I'm reading from a script, it's because I am, but I just feel like I deliver the information a little bit better when I do that. This whole video I'm kind of designed around the meta of Twitch right now, what's currently working on Twitch and what has been for the last year or so. A lot of things have changed in the last 4 to 5 years on Twitch and what's working on the platform, what's selling, what gets people to click and all of that. So I kind of want to cover it as well as I can. I'm going to be making follow-up videos where I spend much longer going into gratuitous detail on everything. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications if you want to keep up with that. If you're already a streamer, you may find some of this information a little patronizing because I am coming at this from the perspective of you really don't know much about Twitch or the platform at all. So sorry about that, but maybe you can still gain some value from this. You're ready to start streaming, but have you sat down and thought to yourself, what does it take to be a good streamer? And how can I do that? What exactly is your job as a streamer? What qualities does a successful streamer need? You can look at some of the bigger content creators and kind of pull some of this information. Why are people subscribing? What is he doing or she doing well? What do they offer? And the 5 qualities that I think are the most important. Your job is to entertain, number 1. Number 2, being consistent in schedule and vibes. 3, being self-aware to honestly reflect on yourself of what your strengths and weaknesses are, which is going to lead into you being able to niche well. 4, being innovative wherever you can be. And 5, leadership. So just to dive in a little bit, as far as your job is to entertain. When people are logging into Twitch, they're usually looking for some kind of distraction from their life, whether they're just getting home from a job. You're really wanting to give them a space where they can escape and enjoy, and they want to find a chill place where they can feel connected to others with a similar passion or interest. So oftentimes you don't even need to do this big show with all of these bells and whistles. It's really just the idea of being able to go and hang out with someone whose personality they like, that attracts an audience or a community of people with similar energy while they're playing League of Legends or while they're doing their makeup or whatever your interest happens to be. They're just looking for that nice comfy little spot to chill. If you're a content consumer, you know what I'm talking about. You're going to a specific channel consistently because they bring the same type of energy every time. This is leading us right into consistent with schedule and vibes. You don't want to start streaming one day and be raging out and yelling at Overwatch and what the blah blah blah, like angry, and then the next day you're doing ASMR and hello everyone. Welcome into all this like chill, comfortable, quiet space, because at that point your audience is confused. You're probably even confused as a content creator. I'm speaking from experience here. I'm the queen of bouncing back and forth between so many different content types to the point where it's kind of like shot my own growth in the leg, which is why I'm giving this advice. If you're just starting out and you're trying to shoot long term, pick something and run with it for a while until you start to build a kind of consistent, regular fan base. At a certain level of growth, you would be able to branch out of a schedule or branch out of a specific content style that you've set for yourself. But to begin with, you're just trying to build momentum. So even if you can only commit to 1 day a week right now, and that's all, do it. At least set yourself some kind of schedule so that you can tell your audience when they come in, yeah, my next stream is going to be this day at this time, and we're going to be doing this, because then you can at least deliver the message and you might have some returning viewers from one stream to the other. And it's all about building your momentum in the beginning and getting those like 3 viewers, 5 viewers, 7 viewers, bumping you up higher in the category so you can get more visibility. Self-awareness is one that I wanted to include because it's important. You're going to have some trolls come in and say some mean things to you or whatever, and if you lose your temper, lose your cool, and just kind of start raging out at them, you want to think of yourself like a comedian on stage and you've got someone in the crowd heckling you. Think about when you've watched comedians and they lose their cool and they're like, oh, this guy sucks, get him out of here, I can't believe he's ruining my show, as compared to the comedian that can keep their cool and riff off of it and make a joke off of it, and then the whole audience is laughing instead of the whole audience being like cringed out and embarrassed because this guy, the performer, just completely lost his cool. This is kind of like just being self-aware, being able to take a joke, being able to understand like, yeah, I do kind of have a goofy smile, yeah, I do kind of laugh like that, yeah, you know, that's funny, like LOL, instead of, it's not only going to help you, but it's going to help your audience just feel a little more comfortable. It's also important to have the ability to assess what you're doing right or wrong without blaming others for where you are, and that's the most important thing. It's so easy to be like, well, I would be a popular streamer too if I had $5,000 worth of gear. I would be a popular streamer too if I had that specific look. I'd be a popular streamer too if I was doing this. As opposed to just like looking at yourself, what can you offer? What are you bringing to the table? And how can you capitalize on that? How can you create an audience and a platform around what you have to offer instead of trying to measure yourself against every other person and then being angry at other people's success? You are your own competition. Nobody else is. Being a streamer is already a very innovative field to go into in the first place. It's still not very mainstream to be able to explain to people what I'm a streamer and them really understand what you're saying. But on top of being a streamer, you still need to be more innovative. You need to be able to take risks and try things that you've never seen people do before, just because you're like, I have this idea that I kind of want to do a stream from my garden where I'm also drinking a beer and talking about this movie that I just saw and why it's a bad movie. And then boom, right there, you've got this really interesting content style. You've already got like a content style. It's like Garden Boy movie reviews or something. You know what I mean? It's a really interesting concept, but you might think to yourself like, well, everyone just streams from their room with these like gamer lights in the background and all of these like hit 17 buttons and I do all these crazy zoom ins on my face and stuff. And if I don't do that, then I won't be a successful streamer. Meanwhile, doing Gamer Boy movie reviews with a beer is nothing that's being done right now. So you're bringing something new to the table. You're innovating in a field. You're going against the norms. You're standing out. So think about what you enjoy doing, or even something that you want to try and put into your life a little bit more. The final point that I want to talk about what makes a good streamer is leadership, and I think that this is the most important and one that comes with experience and time. I think this is the most important quality. Streamer, content creator, influencer. Your job is to lead your community. Your job is being the leader. You have to take responsibility. You have to make decisions. Keep your word when you say what you're going to do. Do what you say, mean what you say what you mean, and show up when others need you to show up. When companies are reaching out to influencers, they're doing this because that person is leading. They are a leader of their community and people listen to the leader. So they're like, hey, leader, tell them to buy our product, basically. I also think it's important to think, what does success mean to you? Does success look like a lot of followers? Does it look like a lot of chat interaction? Does it look like getting into the field to be able to do voice acting long term? Is it about having the ability to express yourself freely? Are you trying to make money? Are you looking for opportunities? Are you trying to build a community? What exactly is it that you want out of streaming? That way you don't get sidetracked because you don't understand what your goals are, and so you're just sitting here looking at the view count and feeling depressed, even though your whole goal the whole time was to advertise the fact that you have an album coming out, or advertise the fact that you also crochet and you have an Etsy shop or something. Think about what it is that you're actually trying to accomplish from streaming. Another thing that I want to mention is to understand why you're streaming in the moment. Like, what are you hoping to get out of that stream? I think this is really important because if you go onto your stream and you stream for 6 hours playing League of Legends or something, and you're sitting at 0 to 1 viewers, maybe no one's really talked to you the whole time, and by hour 4, 5, 6, you're starting to get angry and depressed. You're feeling like you wasted your time and no one cares about me, and this is such a waste. I'm such a loser. All of these, like, this downward spiral. What did you want to accomplish out of the stream anyway? And this is why I think it's important for streamers to be content creators on other platforms, because immediately you can counteract this by just going into your stream with the idea of, at the end of this stream, I want to have 3 hours of footage that I can edit up into a YouTube video that I can use for other purposes. And then even if you don't have any viewers or people chatting to you, you still have valuable content at the end of it that you can change and transform into something else. So now that you're kind of getting a feeling for what you need to be as far as a content creator goes, what you need to bring to the table as a content creator, let's look at what's already on the table. We're going to do a little stream theory here and talk about the current Twitch meta, or the most effective tactics available. A year or two ago, the recipe for success used to be streaming 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, right? Hyper focusing on one game title or one genre. I stream 40 hours of Overwatch every week. I stream 40 hours of Dead by Daylight every week. Times have changed. The current meta is all about cross-promoting your content across multiple platforms. I have seen multiple people blow up because they've had a couple of viral Twitter videos. They'll post some kind of funny Twitter skit or something, and then they build an audience on Twitter, and then the next thing you know, they've gone from 20 average viewers on Twitter to 90 average viewers to 130 to getting Twitch partner, just because they've built a little bit of clout on another platform. So now we're going to switch over to a screen capture so I can show you guys a little bit of statistics. So I'm on a website called Twitch Tracker over here. There's another website called Sully Gnome, which will give you similar information. I'm going to click on Stats Overview, and we're going to look at some statistics for the Twitch website. You can see here, this is from 2013 to 2020, and this is concurrent viewers on Twitch. And you can see very clearly the curve here, and specifically April of 2020, this spiked like crazy, which coincides with COVID. Everyone is stuck at home looking for something to do. It's a really good time to be a streamer right now. As Twitch has grown for viewers, it's also grown for streamers, so there is a lot of competition right now. These are average concurrent channels from 2012, 2,000 concurrent channels in 2012 to 83,000 concurrent channels in 2020, which just means channels live at the same time. We've gone from 300,000 broadcasters a month in 2012 to 6 million broadcasters in 2020. Twitch partners, 3,000 in 2012 to 45,000 in 2020. Even just since the start of 2020 and the aftermath of global events, you can see the amount of streamers has dramatically spiked. Competition for viewers is at an all-time high, but this is also a time where people have more time than usual to consume media. For the viewer count has also spiked in a similar manner. In other words, this is one of the best times to try your hand at becoming a streamer. There has never been more information available or more viewers available for this. However, because there are so many people streaming, the recipe for success has changed. Instead of streaming 40 hours plus a week, in my opinion, your time is better served by streaming in smaller intervals while focusing the rest of the time you would have spent streaming on creating off-stream content. Building authority on another platform gives people more of a reason to care that you're live in the first place. And you're also creating scarcity of your own content, driving up the need to catch you in the moments you are live. We're going to dive into this a little bit deeper when we talk about scheduling later. This website has a lot of interesting information, but you can come down here and see here it looks like there are the most viewers available on Saturdays, but there's also the most streamers available. The second most viewers available are on Sunday, but we've got a drop down in streamers. So I think Sundays, in my opinion, right now are one of the prime days to stream. It looks like Sundays and probably like a Thursday or a Friday later in the week. There's a little bit more viewers here towards the weekend, but there's not as many streamers yet. There's the most streamers available on Saturday, so as a streamer you have the highest competition on Saturday. And then looking at games, just chatting is definitely our most popular category right now. This is the last 7 days, so you can see Among Us has been a big popping one. So I would actually not recommend either of these two categories for a small streamer. I would recommend something down here in this little section. So like a Hearthstone, Dead by Daylight, Apex, music. These are categories that have a lot of viewers, but they're going to have a little bit less competition. I still think there are better choices. We'll talk about this a little bit later though. I still think there are better choices than picking these really popular game categories. Okay, there's a lot of juicy information on Twitch Tracker, so I would recommend peeking at it. So now to talk about how to be entertaining. There are strategies to have more fulfilling streams in the beginning, even if you don't have an audience. I've gone in depth on how to talk to yourself when no one is there in another video, which will be linked below. But to summarize it, you want to fill dead space by narrating your thoughts or your inner monologue out loud. Learn to talk to yourself whether people are responding to you in chat or not. Even if you have viewers, it's not your viewers' job to entertain you. It's your job to entertain them. And I think a lot of small streamers forget that, because you'll hear them like, oh, chat's so dead. What are y'all doing? Is everyone okay? Like, they're constantly trying to get chat to talk to them, which is good. You want chat engaged, but you really just need to be able to sit back and vibe and let chat enjoy what you're making. Here are a few quick tips to add entertainment value to your streams. Improving your improv skills, which can boil down to stay in the moment, learn to say yes, and just a quick Google on improv skills will help. Making the audience part of the show, bringing them in. Work on your storytelling skills. Have strong listening skills, whether that's to chat, a guest you might have on the episode, or scenes in the game. Add more enthusiasm from a place of authenticity. Don't fake being funny or try to be sarcastic if it's not what you're naturally gifted with. And I have a recommended video here by Bryant Chambers, Legacy, that talks a lot about this. Get a little more physical. Talk with your hands. Dance on stream to celebrate a raid. Here's a really good example of a fantastic entertainer, Mr. Chan Chan, dancing, doing a little helicopter dance whenever people raid him. And even Ninja is kind of well known for the pon pon dance. So you can even exaggerate. You don't have to get up and show your full body if you aren't comfortable with that, but exaggerate your body movements to tell a story or react. Only go as far as you're comfortable to. Add additional camera angles or zoomed in scenes for comedic effect or more dynamic video content. Don't take yourself too seriously. Learn to laugh at yourself. Now we're going to talk about actually gaining followers on your platform. The simple answer to gaining followers is make good content and stay consistent. There's really not a formula or a secret recipe. It's literally just make good content. Stay consistent. Put new content out every week. That's good. People will naturally follow that. Good content is an extremely subjective statement, but you should be fine-tuning your craft constantly. Every day there's something you can improve upon, whether it's upgrading your graphics, tweaking your mic settings, researching your niche for a deeper understanding, or setting up a nicer backdrop. There's a lot about understanding your identity that will result in people following you and sticking around for longer term, which we'll discuss a little bit later when we get into niches. Here are my 5 tips for gaining a following. Mean what you say and say what you mean, aka be trustworthy. 2, don't be afraid to open up and share your story with your community. Be raw, be real, be authentic. 3, celebrate your milestones with your community. This could be 200 followers, 500 followers, first 30 subscribers, we got a new emote, just hit affiliate, have fun celebrations. But don't go overboard, please, with the 12 and 24-hour streams. Not necessary. You can do something simple like we wear a Mario hat and play Super Mario or something. You can do something cute and simple. Share your favorite stream moments on other platforms. This goes twofold because it's going to be earning you clout on other platforms like Twitter or whatever, but encourage your audience to clip your stream moments or go back at the end of the stream and pull out a spot where you remember, oh, this was really funny, and then share it. I forgot to mention that this also creates fear of missing out, or FOMO, by your followers who weren't present during the stream. When they see these moments, it encourages them to be there for your next streams because they're like, wow, look how much fun I missed out on. Incorporate networking into your streaming practice to help get your name out there. Rating is what I would recommend most if you do nothing else. You don't have to go and spend hours in other people's streams every day, but just rating at the end of your streams will do miles. And I can do a whole video on rating etiquette, picking a good raid target, etc. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. Finally, we're going to be talking about finding your niche. This subject deserves its own hour-long presentation, and there's a ton of videos available on it. But to put it simply, you're trying to create content where you have a natural passion and you can provide a skill set to help you stand out to an audience that wants said content. This sounds complicated, but it could be as simple as, I've always loved horror movies and I'm very good at storytelling and people want to be spooked. And so you have your niche, telling spooky stories in the just chatting category. You want to look for stuff you love, stuff you're good at, and stuff people want. and you want a combination of the three. And just to talk more anecdotally for a second, I didn't discover my niche until I'd been experimenting with several different stream styles and started noticing trends and viewer count spiking with specific content. So really, you just want to buckle up for a lot of hit and miss style experimentation in the beginning. It's best to start with your passion and just hold steady over a few weeks or even months until you can really start to analyze and notice trends and start to fine-tune your content down into a niche. I think it probably took me a solid 2 years before I understood what my niche was, and then another year or two on top of that before I finally yielded to becoming that type of content creator. Twitch tutorials. Now we're going to talk about scheduling your streams. This isn't going to be a one-size-fits-all, but my ultimate advice here is twofold. Don't overthink it, don't overdo it. Yes, it's better practice to have a set schedule where you're live at the same time every week, and that's the ultimate goal. But to begin with, you're really just trying to get yourself into the habit and rhythm of streaming. There's no sense pushing for 8 to 12 hour stream marathons in the beginning. You're going to demoralize yourself and burn yourself out. In my opinion, a great beginner schedule is 2 to 3 times a week, 2 to 4 hours per stream. You want to give your audience enough time to miss you, allow time to pass so that you have stories about your life to tell them when you come back. This also creates a scarcity around the service or content that you're providing, so people are more likely to show up in the windows that you do provide where you're live. This will help boost your average viewer count. If you're live every day for 8 hours a day, your audience may think to themselves, oh, they're always online. I can miss them today and I'll catch them tomorrow. I also encourage you to feel out your audience. If you're used to streaming 2 hours, but you have a crazy active community that's really hyped up, it wouldn't hurt to add another 30 minutes or another hour onto the end of your stream. Alternatively, if you normally stream 2 hours and you see your chat's kind of dying about an hour and a half in, and you're starting to kind of like, okay, I'm done streaming, you can just go ahead and end it an hour and a half. You don't have to hit 2 hours every day or whatever. The best advice I can give you for stream length is to go into your stream with some kind of goal for post-stream content. This will make a stream with a dead chat not hurt as much because you will still hopefully have hit your content goal and have enough footage to convert that stream into a Twitter video or a YouTube video and use that time you spent to your advantage by converting it to content on other platforms that could lead to more viewers on your next stream. A final piece for advice for deciding when you should stream is to use a handy site like Twitch Tracker, like we talked about earlier, and get a feel for when the optimum time to stream is. I can do an entire video analyzing the data on the site. Let me know if you're interested in that. And it's worth checking Twitch Tracker every month or so because trends change rapidly. Okay, now we're going to talk about avoiding burnout. I am the queen of burnout, so all I can really tell you are signs to look out for that might signify burnout is approaching. A growing cynicism or anger regarding streaming in general. So feeling resentful of the success of others, focusing more on your failures. Second, where once you could laugh at a troll, it's now angering you to the point of long-winded rants and sweaty palms. 3. Well-meaning community members making jokes at your expense suddenly irritates you or hurts your feelings. 4. You dread the thought of going live. 5. You keep making excuses for postponing your streams, like I have a headache, or I have to clean up, or I'm just not feeling it tonight, being a few prime examples and some of my personal favorites. Physical symptoms could be closely related to stress symptoms, headaches, stomach issues, appetite changes, anxiety, heart rate up, tense body, general fatigue, etc. I'm not a doctor though. Google it yourself. Talk to your own doctor. What number are we on? 7? 7. Lower performance and compensating by pulling longer hours or forcing yourself to stream more. So your streams aren't as good and you feel like you need to hang in there even longer and force, let me wait for that next raid. My viewer count isn't high enough. I need to do something else, and just like really wearing yourself and dragging yourself out. 8. Feeling lonely even when you're surrounded by people. And this can be a virtual thing too. Pulling up your Twitter and just feeling complete disconnect from everybody, feeling like you are looking in from the outside and you are no longer part of the group. 9. Having a hard time deciding what to stream and you just kind of fall back on whatever as long as I'm live. Or sometimes trying to do bigger and better streams than ever. 12-hour streams or fan-demanded content that you're not really interested in doing. Even if you don't have the energy just for a regular stream. I see people do this all the time when they're like, oh, stream's not working for me. I just don't really know what I'm doing wrong. You know what? I'm just going to do a 12-hour stream tomorrow. I'm just going to grind it out. We're just going to go for it. You're already disconnected and burnt out and unsure what you're doing in the first place. Why would you put yourself through that torment? The other thing I want to say is burnout is going to look different for everybody. So just learn yourself and understand what it looks like for you when you're no longer happy in what you're doing. The big thing about burnout is that you're putting more energy into something than you are receiving in return. So it's looking for a balance. The best way to avoid burnout is to learn to recognize it and have the strength to back off and take it slower, possibly even take a mini break and spend some time outdoors, refresh your mind, get grounded, get back and, take care of the laundry you've been ignoring. Now we're going to talk about networking basics. Networking is a mixture of making friends and making smart business moves. The advice I give my friends who are just getting started is to spend some time in categories they plan to stream in and just be a viewer of that content. Surf around and find streamers that you like hanging out with, follow them, chat with them without mentioning your stream, and potentially follow them on other platforms if you enjoy their content enough. Become part of their community and support them with no expectations. I think that it's a good thing to shoot for making about 1 to 2 solid networking friends a week. Another major thing for networking is rating at the very end of every stream. It doesn't matter if you have 10 viewers or 2 viewers. You're adding your viewer count onto another streamer's and sharing communities. I think of this as cross-pollinating communities. It's extremely rare someone is upset by receiving a raid, although it does happen, and I recommend that you vet streamers beforehand just to avoid dealing with an ungrateful streamer. Also, remember that your reputation is currency when it comes to being a content creator. Every reaction you have is public and tells everyone what type of person and creator you are. So be kind and mindful when interacting with others. There is an unspoken Twitch etiquette that I'd like to touch on, and I'd like to touch on a few parts of it. There's no official streamer etiquette anywhere. It's just kind of an unspoken culture. 1, don't mention you're a streamer in another streamer's chat unless they specifically ask. This is seen as self-promotion. Most of the time it's polite to just not mention other streamers in someone else's channel unless it's brought up specifically. 2, and a lot of new streamers do this, don't call lurkers out. A lurker is someone who shows up on your viewer list but hasn't talked in chat yet. I know it can be tempting to have that viewer list open and say, oh hey cool Dorito Man 22 when you see their name show up in the list, but unless they've actively joined the conversation by saying something in your chat or setting an alert off by following, etc., don't force them into conversation. It's called calling out lurkers, and it can potentially just make them leave the channel. And I know that when I get called out of lurk, I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to chill. I don't really want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to watch some content. In regards to collaborations, if you're going live with other people on your channel, if you go live with someone else who is either playing a game with you, in a Discord voice chat call with you, or is also live streaming themselves, tell them you're streaming. This is just common courtesy so they can be aware they're being broadcasted. Consent is important. I hope this one goes without saying, but don't pressure people into following you or subscribing to you or donating to you. It's just not a good look. Next, be grateful for hosts' donations, follows, subscriptions, etc. Nobody wants to hear, wow, it took you long enough when they follow you or support you in another way. And I've heard that before. I've been in someone's channel chatting with them. We maybe have been networking on Twitter or something, and I hit follow and the follow alert goes off and they look like confused and they're like, you're just no, wow, that took you long enough. And it's like, I'm taking back my follow. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Twitch chat and culture. If you've not spent a lot of time on Twitch, it's important to know that Twitch has a culture all of its own. Similar to how there are different emojis on Apple phones compared to Android phones, Twitch has its own special set of emotes. You might want to spend some time familiarizing yourself with Twitch global emotes such as Kappa and PogChamp, Poggers, to understand what they mean when they're used in your chat. Kappa is typically used to signify a sentence was sarcastic or said in a bantering type of way, and this could lead to misunderstandings unless you're familiar with the emotes meanings already. There's a lot of Twitch terminology to get used to as well, such as terms we've already used like lurking, raiding, affiliates versus partners, etc. Keep your eyes out for my ABCs of Twitch video that I'm hoping to release with this series. This next section, we're going to switch back over to a screen cap and we're going to do a really quick run through of setting up your profile, just kind of the most important parts of this. We're looking at a brand new Twitch profile here. We've gone into Creator Dashboard. In the top right corner, you click on your profile, Creator Dashboard, and then we go on the left-hand side, we come down to Preferences, Channel. This is where you find your stream key. This is extremely important. Do not share it with other people. Anyone who has your stream key can broadcast to your channel. Another thing that I want to tell new streamers about is this option here, storing your past broadcasts. Make sure this is turned on. It automatically saves broadcasts for up to 14 days. If you have that turned off, then when you go live and you turn the stream off, the video's gone. It doesn't save anywhere unless you're saving it to your hard drive. So make sure this is turned on. The next thing that I think is important is on your actual bio page under the About section. You want to upload some panels here. You can add some widgets, but the most important ones that I think that you should have is a profile picture of some kind, an About section. Thank you. Links to your other social media, and a link to your PayPal or donate if you want to add that. And I'm going to show you an example of my friend Duke Stamina, who just got started. He's created these graphics himself, but you can see he's got like a little profile picture. It doesn't have to be an actual picture of you, a little drawn picture or your branding, an About Me section where he's got his little About Me, a link to his YouTube, a link to his Spotify, a link to his donate, a link to his Discord, and then a link to his Twitter and a couple of widgets, or a widget. And he's also got his social media updated, and then I'll show you mine as well. Mine, I focus a little bit more on aesthetics, honestly. I've got like my profile picture up top with my name, links to my social media, to a PayPal link, a link to my streamer community that I manage, what my sub badges look like, a link to my stream gifts, and a couple of widgets, links to my Instagram, and credits for my graphics. Okay, so that's as much as I want to talk about for the actual Twitch dashboard. This is Toasty. She's gonna chill for a second, I guess. Before we get into setting up your OBS, I guess I want to talk a little bit about hardware and equipment requirements. I'm not a tech guru, but I will say you don't have to go out and buy like $1,000 setup. You could technically just stream straight from your cell phone. You would have to be in the just chatting category, but you could technically just stream with a cell phone. If you already have a PC, I see mostly recommended like computers with i5 processors. Even if you can't stream like really high def games like the new God of War or whatever, you could still stream lower end graphic games, like pixel graphic games or like retro game. You don't have to be set up to stream like these super brand new games that are coming out. Otherwise, you're looking at spending bare minimum $800 and closer to $2,000, honestly, for some of these like nice high tech setups. If you're going the PC route, I recommend a webcam and a microphone. Literally just go on Amazon and type in streamer microphone, but I've been using a Blue Yeti for 5 years now, and it's had an issue here or there, mostly with the USB cord, but it's a mid-tier microphone. You're going to pay around $100 to $120 for it, but I think it's a pretty good like intro microphone, but you can find cheaper ones for like $30 to $40. Webcam wise, I'm using a C920, Logitech C920, which is about an $80 camera last time I looked. And again, you can probably find cheaper options that are closer to the $20 to $30 range. I recommend a microphone, a webcam, and then some kind of computer setup, even if it's like a laptop or whatever. Finally, you could also stream straight from your Xbox or straight from your PlayStation 4. There's streaming softwares built into those gaming systems, and I think you can add webcam capture to them. So you don't have to go out and spend $1 million to get started. You can just use what you have lying around and see if you're even interested in doing it long term, and then start to slowly build up and use the streaming itself to fundraise your growth and your hardware upgrades. The final section that we're going to do is just a quick rundown of OBS. I'm using my Streamlabs OBS to record through, so I've actually downloaded the original OBS. Okay, so we're looking at OBS here. This is a little bit of an older version, but everything should still be the same. When you get into OBS, the first thing you want to do is come into the settings down here in the bottom right. You want to go through every individual setting and make sure it's fine-tuned to your liking. There's plenty of tutorials that go into depth on OBS, but for the sake of this, I just want to show you where to put your stream key, which is right under here on the left-hand side, stream. This is where you put that stream key that we found in your Twitch profile, and save that. If you're finding that you're struggling with dropped frames while you're live streaming, you may want to come in here and mess with the video bit rate, dropping it down lower. The current bit rate that I stream on, my bit rate is 2500 here. That's where you enter your stream key. Now we just want to set up a really quick overlay for you. I think that bare minimum, most people have a starting soon screen. Not required. There's a big debate about it. Do you do that by right-clicking, add, or you just press the plus button down here? We're going to rename this original scene that was up here, and we're going to call this chatting/community scene, where you're like hanging out and chatting with your community. Again, not a required one, but these are like, I feel like some of the most common ones. We've got a gaming screen, and maybe like an AFK BRB screen, and maybe ending scene. The goodbye ending scene, I don't really even use one myself because I typically just raid straight from my streams, but that's an option. And I think these here are probably like the main ones you want to get started, and then add and pepper in more. I'm not going to go through and set up every single one of these here. We're just going to build a gaming scene together. So you've added your scene down here in the bottom left. We're going to come over into the sources. We're going to add a new source over here. The first thing we want is the actual game capture. So you just right click, add, or again press that plus button down here. You want a game capture. Create new. We're going to call it game capture. You could create specific ones for specific games. So for the sake of this, I'm going to call it Stardew Valley, and we're going to click OK. Now it's going to have a drop down here at the top, capture any full screen, specific window, or foreground. Some games are finicky and different. You might have to play around with specific ones because some games won't let you just pull the actual game. I've had it happen, especially with like Ubisoft games. We are going to capture a specific window, and I'm going to come down to my Stardew Valley choice. And we're going to click OK, and then we're going to click and drag and just stretch this out to fit. Okay, so now we have our full game capture here. A lot of times people will add their webcam. Okay, so we're going to click and add a video capture device. When you're looking to add a webcam, it is one of the bottom options called a video capture device. This is also how you add a capture card, like an Elgato. We're gonna call this webcam, click OK, and we're going to pick our webcam. I'm gonna use my 615, my C615 for this example. Click OK. And now we want to put this wherever we want it to and resize it. One little pro tip here, or like hack that I'll show you really quick, is thinking about the thumbnail of your video and how it's going to look. So let's just really quickly come over here to twitch.tv, but we're going to look at the Stardew Valley category and take a look here. What I really want to show you is look at the thumbnails. You can see in the top left it has a red button that says live. In the top right it has a timestamp of how long they've been live. In the bottom left it tells you how many viewers are watching. So you can see in this second example here, she's got her webcam set right there on the left hand side so that it's not covered by any of those stamps. The bottom right corner is a good spot to put your camera because Twitch doesn't add any kind of stamp on top of it. But let me show you an example of someone who's being covered. Right here, you can see this person right here, their webcam is right here, but it's covered up by that viewer mark. And same here with this example, their webcam is in the top left and it's being covered by that bright red live. So you want to try and go for one of these spots that, one, it's not covering up anything in your gameplay, and two, it's not going to be covered up by any of the Twitch UI. So we're going to move our webcam down here in the bottom right, and we're going to nestle it right in between the toolbar in Stardew and the energy bar. And now we're not being covered by anything on Twitch, and we're not covering up anything important on our video game capture. So another thing here that I'll show you that's just like kind of a little trick is to make our webcam look a little bit nicer. We're going to right click on the camera and we're going to go into filters, and we're going to add an effect filter, an image mask blend, an image mask. And that's fine, we don't even have to worry about the title for this. We're going to find an image mask, and let me show you what some of them look like. I also have a blog I'll link below of a bunch of masks that I have available for free download. So masks are just solid things that you can say I'm using a mask right here, it's rounded. It's just kind of telling it where to crop out. I don't really know how to explain technically why it works, I just know that it works. So we're going to let's use this weird one that I have here so you can really see how it works. You can see that it's like not working. That's because you want to drop this down to alpha mask alpha channel instead. And now you can see it's kind of got this cool gradient effect, and we're going to close that. You can see me down in the bottom right corner now. It's not a solid circle. I just think it adds like a little something something. It makes it look just a little bit more interesting. Up to you. You don't have to add them, but it's just a little hack, as it were. So now we have our game capture. Really, there's not really much else that you need to add besides this, but a lot of people will add their widgets, like someone just followed you or whatever. I'll show you here, like in order to add an alert when someone just follows you, you click on the plus sign here for a source, and you want an alert box. Add source, and that's it. Just click add source, and we're just going to go ahead and click done. We're not going to customize this at all. And let's test a follow. You can see that's my little alert that I have popped up. You can spend all day going in and customizing those, but that's how you get your little alerts. That's really all you need. You can also create overlays. You can see here on the game itself, like how you would kind of want to design that. I'll make a video on how I design my overlays if that's something you're interested in. Then you just click start streaming down here in the bottom right corner, and it should connect you right to your channel. You can flip between these different scenes you just made, and you're set. There's a couple of other basic tools I would recommend. I would definitely recommend like a Streamlabs chatbot or some kind of chatbot, MooBot, Nightbot. There's a lot of different options there. That's your set. Other than that, that's how you get rolling. I think that's going to wrap this up. I really hope I can edit this down to like 30 minutes. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was like quick to the point and you got some value out of this. Please let me know if there's anything in specific you are most interested in me going into more detail on or elaborating on or creating special tutorials for. And also, I guess if there's anything that you think a new streamer needs to know in 2020 on how to get started with their journey that I might have missed, leave that as a comment below. And I guess that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give me a like. You know, it helps me in the algorithm. You can also make videos on the algorithm. I love hacking the algorithm, dude. But yeah, if you could leave me a like, if you enjoy this content and you want more Twitch tutorials, subscribe. You can turn on the bell notification if you want to, so you don't miss when I upload a new video. I don't have an upload schedule going against my own advice. I don't have a specific upload schedule right now, but I am trying to get the ball rolling and get back into the rhythm of uploading YouTube videos. I also have several other YouTube channels that I'm trying to figure out right now. So I'm uploading one on my vlog channel about my weight loss journey, and I'm uploading one on my Shady Lady Let's Play channel on my reaction to the first 3 episodes of the Inuyasha series. So those will be linked in the description box below if you're interested. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you all so much for watching this video and for subscribing. Thank you for 9,000 subscribers on this channel. That's really awesome. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.